Welcome to Between State Lines.
Welcome back to Between State Lines, episode 98. And since we know that we're in an absolute hellscape reality, or what Steph and I refer to as actual hell or the bad place, I thought today was a good moment to loop back to the theories on existence we had touched on like a billion years ago in our origins of the podcast. As you recall, egg theory and quantum immortality. Um, and so because of that, I'm just going to pretend our current reality, where our president is our president is not alive, and we're just going to are not in existence. So we're going to ignore that, except for the fact that Pete Hegseth today or yesterday released a video of himself working out with the Marines, and it's like a glamorized video of him like doing like a bunch of workouts, and then like a
Was he
rough
doing
cut.
that Marine challenge that you do in high school?
What's that?
What?
I didn't do Marine Challenge in high school. What is that?
Oh, they have like how many pull ups you're supposed to do and push ups and whatnot. Uh, I was in, it was like high school weight training.
That's probably what he was doing. That sounds like he was doing push-ups and
Everybody had
pull-ups.
to do it. It was like a mandated like PE test
Yeah, I
in
think
2005.
I think I did the presidential fitness challenges. They might have rebranded it from the Marine Challenge or whatever to make it sound better. uh, but yeah, I think that's what he was doing. He's basically doing a bunch of workouts like pull-ups and some weightlifting and some bench pressing. But a rough cut of the video came out, and he is massively struggling in all the videos. Like he like stops running after like a minute because he can't keep running. And someone commented, "Guys, it's really hard to do this when you're drunk."
I bet.
So yeah, that's our fucking Secretary of fucking War or whatever the fuck they call that now.
Yeah, but everybody everywhere is not qualified for any of this shit.
No, no. Also the pizza index. I don't know if you know what that is, or you've heard of it. But those of us who haven't heard of it, pizza index is essentially a measure of how if whether or not something big is going to happen in our country or involving our country based on how many orders of pizza the government um institutions in and around DC are ordering at the time. So, when some of the biggest moments in American history, like recent American history, happened, there was a surge in like Domino's, Pizza Hut, Papa John's pizza orders to these government
Awesome.
places because obviously the people are working through the night and need something to eat, so they order pizza, the cheapest meal. But it was surging this week, and so people were wondering if that meant that Trump kicked the bucket. But I mean, as we can see, that is not what happened. He is still very much alive, so don't know what that's all about.
Well, wait, how do we know he's alive?
Well,
Did I miss something new?
I guess we haven't really seen video of him like alive, but he did call into his usual Fox with friends or whatever the fuck he does every week or whatever. He called in yesterday. So
Hmm.
I mean, I think he's still alive, but it could have been in a an impersonator, I guess. But it sounded just like him. So
Yeah, I was just wondering what he's been up to because I have been out of the loop for a few days. I know everybody's been wishing death upon him, and we've been kind of wishing that for a long time, you know. But I don't know. I don't think we'll know right away.
No, we won't know for. If I were betting, I'd probably say like weeks that they would cover it up. Like
Yeah.
they'd figure something out. But he did go to I mean, he is looking really, really rough as of late. Like last week, we could discuss about how he fell asleep during a meeting on TV, and
Yeah.
was like slumping to the side. But he also fell asleep during the Knicks game this week, like the basketball game, and it was not a quiet building, and he still fell asleep. So he's probably circling the drain.
And not a
But like,
quiet moment. What was that when the Knicks were down?
yeah, that's when they lost.
Oh, that was the one that they lost.
Yeah, that's yeah. The one that, but I mean,
Because they could
people
take the
keep.
whole thing tomorrow.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, they probably will. Honestly, I mean, the momentum
Hope
is all
so.
on their side. Uh, but I mean, he is. People have been speculating that he's been circling the drain for a while now. But I mean, he does have the like most advanced medical care possible, so he could hang on for a very long time.
Unfortunately, the worst people always last forever.
They do. They're just bitter. So, uh, we'll just go to the creep corner, and since today's episode is about some of the creepiest theories on existence, I figured we'd start by reading a really short story in the spirit of the dark forest theory. And if we don't remember what the dark forest theory is, it's basically a theory that we have not found other civilizations in space because they are hiding to avoid a more advanced, hostile civilization that they know exists or fear exists. And we, as humans on Earth, have been broadcasting that we are here and exist for, I don't know, 40 years now or something, a long time.
Yeah.
So, this short story is by Reddit user Ben C. Bartlett, and it's called Radio Silence. 36,400,000. That is the expected number of intelligent civilizations in our galaxy, according to Drake's famous equation. For the last 78 years, we have been broadcasting everything about us: our radio, our television, our history, our greatest discoveries to the rest of the galaxy. We had been shouting our existence at the top of our lungs to the rest of the universe, wondering if we were alone. 36 million civilizations, yet in almost a century of listening, we have not heard a thing. We were alone. That was till about 5 minutes ago. The transmission came on every transcendental multiple of hydrogen's frequency that we were listening to. Transcendental harmonics, things like hydrogen's frequency times pi, don't appear in nature, so I knew it had to be artificial. The signal pulsed on and off very quickly with incredibly uniform amplitudes. My initial reaction was that this was some sort of binary transmission. I measured 1,679 pulses in 1 minute that the transmission was active. After that, the silence resumed. The numbers don't make any sense at first. They just seem to be a random jumble of noise. But the pulses were so perfectly uniform and on a radio frequency that was always so silent. They had to come from an artificial source. I looked over the transmission again, and my heart skipped a beat. 1,679. That was the exact length of Arecibo's message sent out 40 years ago. I excitedly started arranging the bits in the original 73 by 23 rectangle. I didn't get more than halfway through before my hopes were confirmed. This was the exact same message. The numbers in binary from 1 to 10. The atomic numbers of the elements that make up life. The formulas for our DNA nucleotides. Someone had been listening to us and wanted us to know they were there. Then it came to me. The original message was transmitted only 40 years ago. That means that life must be at least 20 light years away. A civilization within talking distance, this would revolutionize every field I ever worked in: astrophysicist, astrophysics, astrobiology. The signal beeped again. This time it is slow, deliberate even. It lasts just under 5 minutes, with a new bit coming in once per second. Though the computers are, of course, recording it, I start writing them down: 01010100. I knew immediately that this wasn't the same message as before. My mind races through the possibilities of what it could be. The transmission ends, having transmitted 248 bits. Surely this is too small for a meaningful message. What great message to another civilization can you possibly send with only 248 bits of information? On a computer, the only files that small will be limited to text. Was it possible? Were they really sending a message to us in our own language? Come to think of it, it is not out of the question. We had been transmitting pretty much every language on Earth for 70 years. I begin to decipher what the first encoding scheme I could think of. 01010100. That's B. 01001001E. As I finish piecing together the message, my stomach sinks like an anchor. The words before me answer everything. Be quiet, or they will hear you. And that is the story.
What?
Which basically is what could happen to us. Like, we are just fucking telling the universe, everything out there, that we exist, wanting to get communication back. But if there are 37 million possible civilizations in the whole universe, there are hostile ones out there. Like, the odds are great that they're hostile.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And that's terrifying. Be quiet or they'll hear you.
So maybe we should stop broadcasting. I mean, it's already too late. We sent out one of the satellites we sent out there for the probes has like a whole disk of information on us and our location. So, like, I guess it's too late at this point.
Yeah.
But what's
No,
crazy
they
is
know.
like that. Go ahead.
They know we're here.
They do. Or if they don't now, they will. I mean, like, that probe, I think, just left our solar system like a year ago or 2 years ago. So, and that's been in space for 40 years, and it's gone like 1.5 million miles away from us. So, it's getting there.
Yeah, no. They know we're here.
So, on this theory of existence, the first theory is chronological illusion, or the eternal present. So we all live our lives under one massive, unquestioned assumption that the past is a graveyard of memories, the future is an unwritten blank slate, and the present moment is the only thing that is actually real. In philosophy, this is called
Philosophy.
philosophy. This is called presentism. It feels intuitive. It feels right. But according to Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity, it is a flat out lie. In modern physics, the universe is viewed as a block universe, a concept known as eternalism. In this model, time does not flow, it does not move forward, and does not leave things behind. Instead, it is static, unchanging, physical dimension, completely woven into space to create a four-dimensional fabric called spacetime. visualize this, imagine a massive, solid block of ice. The Big Bang is frozen into one far edge of the block. The cold, dark death of the universe is frozen into the opposite edge. And your birth, your childhood, and your eventual death are all permanently baked into slices right in the middle. Everything exists simultaneously. Oh, fuck me. I swear, every time I move my phone and like it like shifts the screen, whatever, I lose my place in my notes.
Yeah, and I
Th- so think of a movie printed on an old school celluloid film reel. If you were a character inside the movie, you only experience one frame at a time. That is your now. But if you were holding the entire film reel in your hands, the first scene, the climax, that's what she said, and the credits all exist in the same time. The ending isn't waiting to happen, it's already printed on the plastic. Or, if another analogy helps, when you look out over a mountain range, the peak to your left doesn't cease to exist just because you turn your head to look at the peak to your right. Both peaks exist simultaneously in space. In Block Universe, yesterday and tomorrow are just physical locations in the landscape of time. And if you think this sounds like science fiction, this is the actual mathematical proof that killed the idea of a universal now. It's a thought experiment called the Andromeda paradox. Imagine two people walking past one another on a sidewalk. One is walking to the left and one to the right. Because they're moving in opposite directions, their movement causes their lines of relativity, what they calculate as happening right now in the universe, to tilt ever so slightly away from one another. On Earth, that tilt is completely unnoticeable. But if you project that tiny microscopic angle across billions of light years of deep space to the Andromeda galaxy, the gap widens drastically. For the person walking to the left, they're now alliance with an alien armada in Andromeda that has already launched a fleet to invade Earth. But for the person walking to the right, they're now alliance with those same exact aliens who haven't even decided whether or not to invade yet. If the future doesn't exist yet, how can it already be history for one of the people on the sidewalk? Well, it can't. The only logical conclusion physics allows is that both the decision and the launch are already permanently locked into the fabric of space time. So, this is where the theory takes a deeply unsettling turn. If block theory is true, it forces us to accept some terrifying realities about our existence. The first, death of free will. You aren't making choices. Every word being spoken right now, every breath you take, and the exact date, time, and manner of your death are already carved into the space time block as of 13.8 billion years ago. Your consciousness is not a driver, it is a passenger on a roller coaster track that has already been built. The second, eternal replay. We naturally comfort ourselves during horrific times by saying, this too shall pass. But in a block universe, nothing passes. The worst day of your life isn't over. Every historical tragedy, every murder, every moment of profound heartbreak you've ever suffered is permanently physically happening at its exact coordinate and time, playing out on an infinite eternal loop forever. The third, the space time worm. In four dimensions, you aren't a person moving through a room, you are a giant, static, terrifying space time worm. The tail of the worm is your birth, the head of the worm is your death, and the entire life is just a solid, unchanging physical structure embedded permanently in the cosmos. There is one silver lining to the cosmic dread. In 1955, Albert Einstein's lifelong best friend, Michel Besso died. Einstein later wrote a letter to Besso's family. Knowing his own death was near, Epstein explicitly used the block universe to comfort them, writing, "Now he has departed from this strange world a little ahead of me. That means nothing. People like us, who believe in physics, know the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. If the theory holds, nobody actually dies. Your loved ones aren't gone. They are just located a few miles back down the space-time highway, permanently alive, smiling, and existing in the slices of the block where they have always been."
I don't know. I don't find that very comforting.
No. But it makes sense that, like, all of time exists right now. Like, we're all on the same, like, block of space, essentially.
Yeah, how do we end up on the shittiest block?
Yeah. It's because we are just destined to be awful people. That's why.
I guess. What the hell?
What the fucking shit? This is we just got fucked from birth, apparently. So,
For real.
like I said before, I don't know who we pissed off, but we pissed somebody off. But whoever it is, better start probing me so they can get back to the good reality.
Yeah, seriously. Probe Holden.
Well, start probe us. You agreed to this whole.
Nope, I didn't. No.
It's called the probe pact. You know, there's like suicide pacts, probe pact.
Nope. Don't know what you're talking about. I've got some beautiful art going though.
Nice. My mom for Christmas, she buys everybody, like her 3 kids, the same stuff. So we're all evenly gifted things, and
Hmm.
which is kind of funny because like it is not a very thoughtful gift. It's just
No,
like,
not
but
personal whatsoever.
but she but she gave us those coloring books, like the one you have right there, like similar ones to that. Each of the last like 3 years. So yeah, got plenty of those.
Yeah, I think I actually have one of these that I've had for many years. This is the first time I've actually used one of these, and I got it for Mother's Day from my kids.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Making use of it.
And I do it randomly where I just use whatever random colors I have near me. So like right now I'm using an ultra fine tip dry erase pen. And I've used mostly like highlighters and stuff.
Highlighters. Nice.
Yeah. So like none of this is your like random crayon or marker. This is a hodgepodge or whatever the hell's around.
That's what she said. Um. So this next theory, it's called the Big Bounce. That is also what she said.
Yeah. That's more of what she said, I think.
Every standard explanation of cosmology tells us that about 13.8 billion years ago, the universe exploded into existence out of absolutely nothing. We are told that everything we see was once packed into a singularity, a point of infinite density, and infinite heat where space and time originally began. However, in physics, the phrase infinite density is actually a red flag. It means the mathematical equations of Albert Einstein's general relativity have broken down. General relativity treats space as a smooth, continuous fabric, which works perfectly for explaining large scale gravity, but it fails when trying to calculate a universe squeezed down to zero volume. The Big Bounce theory removes this mathematical breakdown entirely. Instead of a universe beginning from a dead stop or absolute nothingness, it proposes that the Big Bang was a transition phase, the moment a previously collapsing universe reached maximum density and rebounded outward. The leading fucking goddamn notes.
Should have had an iPhone.
I think I just need to turn my phone off of the auto rotate. That just
Whatever. Should have had an
so.
iPhone.
Uh, the leading framework supporting this idea is loop quantum cosmology. This field combines the rules of gravity with quantum mechanics to explain the universe at its smallest possible scale, and it completely redefines what space actually is. To understand this, imagine looking at a high definition digital photograph on a screen. From far away, the image looks completely smooth, seamless, and continuous. You can glide your eyes across it without seeing any breaks. But if you zoom in as far as the software allows, the smoothness disappears. You hit a grid of hard, square blocks, aka pixels. You cannot half a pixel. A pixel is the absolute fundamental unit of that image. In loop quantum cosmology, space is just like that screen. It looks smooth to us, but it is actually pixelated at the subatomic level by tiny, indivisible quantum loops. You cannot have a piece of space smaller than one of these loops. The pixelated structure completely changes how a cosmic collapse behaves. Imagine a previous universe filled with stars and galaxies that eventually stopped expanding and began to fall inward under its own gravity, a phase called the Big Crunch. As that previous universe collapses, it gets smaller, hotter, and denser. Picture a massive, dense kitchen sponge. If you place it in your hand, you can easily squeeze it down to half the size. If you squeeze harder, it gets smaller and the resistance increases. But no matter how strong you are, you can never squeeze that sponge down to the size of a single atom. Challenge accepted. The physical material of the sponge takes up space, and eventually the atoms alongside it fiercely resist being pushed into the exact same spot. As the previous universe collapses, it hits the exact same type of hard physical limit. Once all that matter and energy tries to occupy a space smaller than the fundamental pixels of space itself, the universe locks up. At this extreme density, roughly 10 to the 96th power times the density of water, the fabric of space-time refuses to shrink any further. When it hits this wall, the universe acts like an overinflated shock absorber. Imagine the suspension spring on a heavy duty truck. If the truck hits a massive pothole, the heavy weight violently forces the metal spring to compress, packing the energy tighter and tighter. But the moment the spring hits its absolute maximum compression point, all that stored energy instantly reverses. The spring violently thrusts upward, pushing the truck away from the ground. At the threshold of maximum density, the quantum pixels of space act like that compressed metal spring. They store the energy of the collapse until they hit a breaking point, causing the force to instantly reverse. Gravity flips from a pull to a violent push. The collapse violently rebounds outward, creating the massive explosion of expansion that we know as the Big Bang. Physicists who study the Big Bounce are divided on a major question. If our universe came from a previous one, did we inherit any of its traits? Or did we bounce wipe the slate clean? The first camp argues for a concept called cosmic recall. Imagine taking a beautifully formatted printed document, feeding it into a high end digital scanner, and printing it out on a new sheet of paper. The paper is brand new, but the text, the margins, the structure are perfectly preserved from the original. Certain mathematical models show that a well behaved universe can pass through the quantum bounce with its fundamental properties intact, meaning the layout of our current galaxies might be a direct structural memory of the universe that died before we were born. The second camp argues for cosmic amnesia. Imagine taking that same document, dropping it into an industrial paper shredder, then dumping the shreds into a blender with water. By the time the process is done, the original information is completely obliterated. If you use that pulp to roll out a fresh sheet of handmade paper, it is a completely blank slate. The new paper exists because of the old document, but it carries absolutely zero memory of the words that used to be written on it. This side of the theory suggests the extreme heat and quantum turbulence at the point of the bounce act as a cosmic blender, destroying every shred of past history so our universe starts completely from scratch. This leaves us with two possibilities for how time operates. The first is a unique one time bounce caused by highly specific initial conditions, meaning our current expansion will continue forever until the universe cools down into a permanent freeze. The second, more cinematic option is the cyclical universe. This proposes that the cosmos exists in an eternal breathing cycle. It expands, reaching a maximum limit, halts, contracts under its own gravity into a big crunch, hits the quantum threshold, bounces, and repeats the cycle indefinitely. In this model, time has no beginning and no end. To prove this, scientists cannot look past the birth of our universe with standard telescopes. They look for indirect physical evidence in the cosmic microwave background, the fossilized radiation left over from the early universe. To prove this, scientists cannot look past the birth of our universe with standard telescopes. They look for indirect physical evidence in the cosmic microwave background, the fossilized radiation left over from the early universe. In quantum bounce, it would suggest specific types of ripples in space-time called primordial gravitational waves. These waves would leave distinct polarized imprints or bruises in that ancient radiation. While current data has not definitively proven the big bounce, future highly sensitive satellite missions are being designed to look specifically for these quantum gravitational signatures, searching for an echo of a world before our own. And that is the big bounce theory.
The big bounce.
Which, yet again, would mean that we are just constantly in the same loop forever and never ending.
I mean, it feels that way. You know? Do you feel pretty tired? I feel pretty tired. I'm
I
like
feel
always thinking of that Forrest Gump. I'm pretty tired. Think I'll go home now.
Oh, is that when he was running? I'm
Yeah.
pretty tired now.
Yep.
Such a good movie.
Never seen it.
You've never seen Forrest Gump?
Mm-mm. I don't know why I am the way that I am.
I know why you are the way you are. Because you are evil.
Yeah.
You are a master manipulator.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know that I'm doing it. Not good.
Okay. So the last one, it might be my favorite of these theories of existence. and it's called the philosophical zombie, aka P zombie. Most modern science operates under a strict rule. Everything in the universe can be completely explained by physical matter. If you understand the atoms, the chemistry, and the electrical signals, you understand the whole story. When it comes to the human brain, this materialist view says that consciousness, your inner experience of thoughts, feelings, and awareness, is simply the byproduct of billions of neurons firing off electrical impulses. However, in the philosophy of mind, this physical explanation hits a massive conceptual wall known as the hard problem of consciousness. We can map exactly where which brain cells fire when you stub your toe, but science cannot explain why that electrical signal could actually hurt. Why does physical processing feel like anything at all from the inside? To expose this gap in our understanding, philosopher David Chalmers popularized a famous thought experiment, the philosophical zombie. It is not a monster from a horror film, but a tools down challenge to the idea that humans are nothing more than biological machines. To understand what a P zombie is, you have to realize that it is physically indistinguishable from a normal human being. Imagine looking at two identical high end smartphones sitting side by side on the table. Externally, they look exactly the same, same glass, same metallic finish. When you tap the screen of the first phone, the display lights up, apps open, and it processes data perfectly. When you tap the screen of the second phone, it reacts in the same it reacts in the same god damn I can't read. It reacts in the exact same fraction of a second, running the same software, opening the same apps, outputting the same data. From the outside, their behavior is identical. But imagine that underneath the glass of the second phone, there is a fundamental difference. The screen is completely black on the inside. The phone is executing the code, but there is no actual light emitting externally. It mimics the function perfectly, but the internal experience of being an active screen is completely absent. A P zombie is that second phone. If you were to look at a P zombie, it has a human body, a working brain, and a nervous system. If you cut its finger, its pain receptors fire, its brain processes the trauma, it winces, it pulls its hand back, and says, "Ouch, that hurt." It can talk about its childhood, cry at a sad movie, and debate philosophy. But here's the catch: there is nobody home. On the inside, it is completely vacant. It has no inner life, no subjective awareness, no qualitative experience of the world. It doesn't actually feel the pain, it doesn't see the color red, and it doesn't experience the sadness. It is a biological machine executing perfect human behavior in a total psychological darkness. Philosophers do not use the P zombie to argue that real zombies are walking among us. Instead, they use it as a logical tool to test whether pure materialism is true. The debate hinges on one critical question: is a P zombie logically possible? The argument states that if you can coherently imagine a creature that has a 100% perfect human brain but 0% consciousness, then consciousness cannot be the exact same thing as physical brain matter. To understand why this is a massive problem for materialist science, look at how we define the physical world. Imagine scientists gathering all the necessary ingredients to create water: 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. If they bond those atoms together perfectly under the right temperature and pressure, they must get water. It is physically impossible to combine hydrogen and oxygen perfectly and end up with a rock or nothing at all, because the properties of water are entirely created by its physical ingredients. You cannot separate the two. But the P zombie argument says consciousness is fundamentally different from water. If a scientist could perfectly copy every single atom, neuron, and chemical pathway in your brain to build a replica of you, the law of physics says that the replica should be exactly like you. But if it is even conceptually possible that this replica could open its eyes, behave like you, but be a completely hollow P zombie with no inner awareness, then consciousness is not just an automatic byproduct of physical matter. It means you can have all the physical ingredients of a human brain without the consciousness experience. Therefore, consciousness must be something extra, something above and beyond the purely physical world. Um, this thought experiment divides thinkers into two fierce camps, offering two completely different versions of reality. The first camp agrees with the zombie argument, embracing property dualism. They argue that the universe is made of two distinct things: physical properties like mass and electrical charge, and mental properties like consciousness. To them, the P zombie proves that science is missing half of the picture, and we need an entirely new framework to understand the mind. The second camp, led by materialist philosophers like Daniel Dennett, argues for cosmic amnesia regarding the concept of inner experience. They claim the entire thought experiment is a trick of the imagination. Imagine a mechanic looking at a complex sports car. The engine is running, the pistons are pumping, the exhaust is humming, and the wheels are spinning at 100 miles per hour. Now imagine the mechanic says, "Sure, the car is working perfectly, but how do we know the carness is actually inside of it? Could there be a zombie car that does all of this but doesn't possess the true magical essence of being a car?" The materialist camp argues that this is exactly what we are doing with the human mind. They claim the consciousness isn't a magical, separate inner light. It is simply the sum total of a complex brain. To them, a P zombie is a logical contradiction. You cannot have the billions of neurons firing, processing data, and producing behavior without automatically generating consciousness. They argue that we are all just highly sophisticated biological machines, and the idea of a separate, mysterious inner experience is an illusion. This leaves us with a profound, lingering question about the people around us. If a P zombie can mimic love, fear, creativity, and pain perfectly, how can you prove that the person sitting across from you isn't one? You know with absolute certainty that you are conscious because you are currently experiencing your own thoughts. But because we can only observe the external behavior and physical brains of others, we can never truly peer inside to see if the light is on. The philosophical zombie forces us to confront the reality that the most obvious thing in our lives, our own consciousness awareness, remains the single biggest blind spot in modern science. What if that's real?
That's terrifying.
You could never
That's terrifying.
prove.
I
Like,
think but first of all, how can you trust yourself? How can you say that it's the only thing that you know? Think of Severance.
yes, that is true. However, like, like when you stub your toe, you know it hurts because you feel the pain. Like you burn your finger, you feel it hurt. Like it's, yeah, ouch, fuck, that hurt. But
What if I'm an imposter? What if all of my thoughts are implanted? I'm the replica.
yeah, all of your thoughts are implanted. Like you are just a production of and I'm take this a little bit further, your production of a advanced civilization that has created Earth and like put some people on Earth are actually like humans who feel pain and everything. And there's some that don't, or a lot that don't, and they're trying to like experiment on us and see how we, react with one another.
I think I'm a replica.
You think
Yeah, I don't think I'm an original.
that begs to answer the question, like, where is your original then? If
I
you're a
don't know.
replica, where is the original?
I don't know. Got rid of her a long time ago.
So I saw the back rooms last weekend. And I
Yeah.
don't know if you've like really done any kind of research or
No.
on that movie or whatever.
No.
So basically, I'll spoil it for you.
Go for it.
And for anyone who wants to see Backrooms, if you have not seen it yet, you can skip this part. Just don't listen to this.
It's like
But
too late. Should have
essentially,
watched shit when it came out.
that's also true. So maybe stick around and get it spoiled. But basically, this guy owns or he operates a furniture store, and he finds in the basement a doorway to essentially what appears to be an alternate universe within our universe called the back rooms. And it starts as like, it looks like office space, like that's empty with a few pieces of furniture in there. But as he goes like deeper into the back rooms and turns the corner, goes to a different room, like things get really weird. Like the rooms get smaller and like the furniture gets really weird, like off putting. It's not like a really good looking piece of furniture. It's like, okay, this looks like it's built by someone who doesn't know what, a chair is. And the idea is that the back rooms is a never ending reality. There's like thousands of different like floors with like creatures, but that it essentially is like an MRI machine where it can scan something and copy it onto like a printout or whatever. But as it tries to remember the people that it have been inside of it or those people's memories, uh, the creations it puts out in the back rooms are just like awful looking creations. Like, for example, there are two people that he runs into. One has like three sets of eyes and a belly button that's like off to the side. Um, one of the girls that he runs into, her like eyes are also like really fucked up looking. Like furniture is like missing legs, like upside down. Like it's just awful versions of actual reality. Uh, but yeah, so great movie. Uh, and it was made by a YouTuber. Um, and yeah, I mean, made by a YouTuber, and it has like such a huge success opening, and it's just a really good film. I don't know where I was going with that thought process, but that's what I was gonna
It
say, I
sounds
guess.
terrifying. I hate it. Never gonna watch it. But I'm glad
It's
you like
really
it.
good.
Yeah, everybody
Okay, you
who's
gotta see it though.
seen it that has been telling me gleefully how good it was. I'm terrified. No, thank you.
It you
It
should go
makes
see
me
it.
so uncomfortable.
It like what if you found the real back rooms? I think there's like a
Oh, it
list
reminds
on
me of my
like
dreams. I hate it.
let me look up. There's like a list of like levels to the back rooms.
Yeah, it reminds me of my dreams. I hate it.
Yeah, like level 33 is the Infinite Mall.
See?
Um
Yeah, that all sounds like my dreams.
Seems to be an empty shopping mall Most of the stores are owned by major corporations from the real world, but usually have few products in stock or are completely empty. Some stores are closed off by a gate that currently has no known way to open, and more often than not, the food courts will be empty, but there is a chance that you can come across a food court or store that has a full stock. When you first enter, there's a very low chance you will encounter a hound, duller, a few death rats, or even a skin stealer.
No
But as you
thanks.
go a dozen miles into the store, the entities, as well as new ones, will start appearing more often. The mall progressively become more worn down the further you travel. Water will begin appearing to flood the level. The lights will start flickering to the point where they simply won't turn on anymore. Um,
Yeah,
see
and the
another cool
water
level.
flooding. I've had so many dreams of the water flooding. It's like a water flooding at Parkade.
What if you found the back rooms? Like, what if they were real and you found them?
I think I have in my dreams. I can't. No, thank you.
The theory with the back rooms is that like there are doorways to the back rooms, but then also you can just no clip into them, like just randomly out of nowhere at middle of your day, you just appear into the back rooms.
So I used to work at a Nordstrom that doesn't exist anymore, and it had like all sorts of places like that.
That's creepy.
Yeah, like you could all of a sudden you'd be walking into a door that you didn't recognize that was there. And yeah, I don't know. I grew up in malls, so I feel like yeah, this is like my nightmares.
Let's see. There's another one called the Forest of the Skeleton Queen,
Awful.
level 32. Level 32 is a dark forest that stretches out infinitely under the eyeglass gaze of a crescent moon and a starless sky. Hanging from the trees that make up the level are a number of skeletons. Their pale bones shining under the moonlight, clattering in the wind. Some say they can hear the skeletons speak. Sometimes they speak of their former lives or of prophecies yet to come, or perhaps it's simply the wind whirling through their skulls. Aside from the skeletons, only a single entity roams the level, one being in two forms. Her first form is that of the Bell, a pale woman with a black hair who appears in a long orange Victorian dress and skeletal face paint. The Bell does not speak, but she beckons wanderers to follow her like a siren luring its prey. If wanderers chase after her until they lose sight of her, they will quickly run into her other form, the Skeleton Queen. She is a tall, skeletal figure who wears a tattered black dress, a powerful creature, and seems to have almost complete control over her domain. If you treat her with respect, she may let you go, but if you don't, she will command the trees to rip you limb from limb in a second. Or worse, she may toy with you, letting you run, letting you think you have a chance to escape until you can't run any longer, and she forces the ground itself to swallow you up.
Yeah, that's scary.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'll do one last one. The level 36, the Timeless Airport. So you first arrive at baggage claim. This is where you first arrive. Yes, it is normal that you're brought in by the conveyor belt. They import every being and object that no clips into level 36. Endless rows of baggage carousels stretch out in both directions, attached to a wall that is the only known bounded edge of the level. Each active conveyor belt corresponds to a specific entrance point from a particular level. If you and your companion use the same no clip point, you'll appear on the same conveyor belt. numbers denoting each carousel are not correlated with the entrance level number. For example, level 11 has multiple entrances to the timeless airport, which are linked to carousels 9, 28, 447. Infinite baggage claims exist. In past the baggage claim, you'll encounter the check-in zone, infinite row of deserted service counters. The screens directly above these, as well as other similarly dimly lit screens, all display the same crucial information: a list of outbound flights, each denoted by a countdown, a unique flight number, assigned gate, status. When a flight's countdown reaches 1,000, it will begin boarding, in which the indicated gate acts as a threshold to the intermediary sublevel 36.1, the airplane. So, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Moral of the story, don't go to the back rooms.
Yeah, nightmare. Who wants to get stuck at the infinite airport?
Yeah. Or the timeless mall. Or whatever
Seriously,
it was.
that is my nightmares. Like, that reminds me of growing up. Going through the back rooms of the mall. Knowing about them.
Insider knowledge, insider trading.
Yeah. No, it's not the cool kind. The trauma.
Has it gotten any cooler?
No.
I mean, temperature wise in your
No.
room? Okay.
No, we're sweltering. I turned off lights. I have this one plant light over here because I don't think it emits heat. But yeah, no. Dying over here. Just coloring and stretching.
Coloring and stretching. Well, so guys, that is the multiple theories of existence today that we were talking about. I don't know. There are so many theories. I feel like we could definitely be in the big bounce. I think we could, just be in an infinite time loop and never, ever. I sound like a robot.
Yeah, what's going on?
What's happening?
Can you hear that crackliness?
Yeah,
Is that me or is that you?
I think it's you. But yeah, so let us know what you guys think. If you want us to dive into more theories of existence, we are always looking for more ideas, more theories on life to explain the hellscape that we're in. But yeah, we will see you guys next week.